Hey artists, Mr. Janicard again. We are working on step 4 now of your graffiti project, and I'm going to go through the steps for you to create your final graffiti alphabet. This is the one you've done rough drafts of already, and now you're at the point where you're ready to do a final version. So let's walk through how to do that. You're going to have to pay close attention because this needs to be neat and finished, and in order to do that, you're going to have to line your paper, and there is a process that you can use to make it look nice and neat. So let me show you here. So this is my rough draft. I showed it to you in the last video. You can see it's not particularly neat. There's some changes in the middle, but I've got an idea down, and I'm going to move forward with making my final version. So let me show you what the final version ended up looking like. So this is the final version, and you can't quite see the last line there, but that's okay. You can see that my letters are nice and neat. They're all outlined in black. They all have a slight three-dimensional quality to them, a little bit of a drop shadow going there. They all match, but you can see between this and this, I made some changes, right? I took away these bubbles, and instead I went with just the points, because somehow I felt like the bubbles and the points together didn't really work. So on my final version, I went ahead and changed them slightly. I made some adjustments, and that's fine. If you guys need to do that as you're working, it's absolutely fine to make slight adjustments on the final version. That is perfectly normal. Just make sure that as you draw your letters, you're drawing them nice and light, okay? That way, if you need to erase something and change it, it's nice and lightly drawn. You can erase it easily. But before you get to your final version, what you need to do is you need to line your paper. Now this that you're seeing here has dark lines on it because it's a sample, and it's meant to show you how far the spaces go and all that kind of thing. I will upload this actual piece of paper as a template for you guys to go by. I don't want you to print it out and draw your letters on it, because then you can't erase these lines. But it shows you the measurements, and it shows you, hey, there's spaces in between that are small that you don't need to use. But I'm going to show you how to do this real quickly to make these lines on here. So you've got your sketchbook, you've got your ruler, and the way that this works is I'm going to make the first few lines. You make what's called a tick mark. And you make these little ticks. Now all of your lines end up being 1.5 inches high, but you also need a 1/2 inch space in between those lines. So this is really easy. Once you do the first one, it's 1/2 inch, 2 inches, 2.5 inches, 4 inches, 4.5 inches, 6 inches, 6.5 inches, 8 inches, 8.5 inches, and 10 inches. Okay, so I've done this on the right side. I'm going to go over and do the same on the left side. You got to be really careful to do it the same, because if you don't, your lines will be crooked and it's not going to look pretty when you're done. So 1/2 inch, 2 inches, 2.5, 4, 4.5, 6, 6.5, 8, 8.5, and 10. Okay, now those marks are made lightly. You can barely see them on the video, and this is a good thing. So then all you got to do is connect the dots. Okay, carefully. Make sure that your dots, my one dot is there, my other dot is there. Make sure that you do it the same way on both sides. Like, I don't want to have the dot missing on the left side and showing on the right side, because if I do, my line's going to be crooked. I want those to be the same, just barely showing, and then just with the weight of your pencil, make a line. Now you see how light that line is? That's how light you want your lines, because then they erase very easily. And for this step of the project, we do not want to see any pencil lines at the end. All we want to see is our nice black ink, or you can use a marker if you don't have a black ink pen. If you don't happen to have a black ink pen, you could use a blue ink pen. I'm absolutely fine with that. But I do want them inked some way. I don't want these in pencil. You can draw them in pencil first, but you need to outline them after you draw them in pencil. And I'll show you those steps. Okay. Well, that gives us enough lines to work with. So what I'm going to do actually to show you guys, I'm just going to do the first letter and maybe give you guys an idea. So I'm going to modify my letters again since I've already done them with all the points. I'm going to try and do them with just the bubbles. So let's try this. Now, when I draw my letters, I want to start them at the top, and I'm going to draw nice and light so that if I mess up, I can erase it. Okay, let's see here. A little bubble in the middle of the A there to connect it to the other side. And I'm going to let this side go down below a little bit. And what I'll do on my future letters is I'll let some of the other letters go down below. But just a little bit. I don't want to go way down here because this is the top of my next row of letters. Okay, so there's my A. I wonder how many I could fit on here. A, B, C, D, let's say E. So I'm going to put the F down on this next line just to show you where the next one should fall. Let's see. How can we do that? Let's do it this way. See how the middle of my A and the middle of my F are similar? That helps the unity of my letters, right? Okay, so you get the idea. These spaces right here should be empty. They're so that your letters aren't touching top and bottom. So now I've got my letters drawn lightly. I am going to take my black pen and I am going to very carefully outline these. And even as you're outlining, if you need to make adjustments, now is the last time you'll be able to do that, because you can't erase pen. Okay, and there's my A. Now, I've got a problem. I didn't make any three-dimensional effects for my A, did I? So what could I do? How about some sort of jagged line around it? That'll provide contrast because I've got these nice round lines. So if I do lines that are jagged around the edges, it provides an instant contrast here. Yeah, that should have been pointed. Okay, I like that. And we're also I'm gonna make this line a little thicker, maybe. On the outside, yeah, there we go, just a little bit. That also will provide some contrast. go. Now, I don't think that's going to fit. But you get the idea. I think I'm going to add some more weight to my here. Oh no, I messed up. Guess what? We're going to make it work. Bob Ross would call that a happy accident, guys. As you know. So since I made that right side thick there, I'll make the right side thick here. Just make it look like I did it on purpose. I'm struggling following my lines. Got old man-itis today, guys. Okay, so there you go. That looks better. So then after you do that, you'll go back, you get all your letters done, all your outlines, and you will carefully and happily erase your guidelines. I'm just going to do around the A. And there you have the beginning of your alphabet. And you'll do that for each letter, A through Z. You can do capital letters, all capitals. They can be all lowercase. But follow what you did for your rough draft, okay? It doesn't have to be exactly following it. As you can see, I just changed mine up. But the idea is there. It's similar. So have fun doing this. This is the first part of finishing your graffiti project. I hope that you guys will put a serious effort into this and that you'll enjoy the process, because it is about the process. So enjoy, guys. I look forward to seeing your work.